So it would appear as though a lot of you guys actually want to see more videos about me and me talking about myself and just kind of life and such. So I'm gonna see if I can do a few of these here and there, but they're not gonna take over the channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about a little something that I feel like I personally feel from a day-to-day life kind of basis. And I know there's gonna be a lot of Among Us jokes in the comments, but I personally feel as though I have imposter syndrome. Now I'm gonna kind of like explain this here because I know I'm not like a very big YouTuber. I know I'm not popular, and I know for a fact that I probably shouldn't be feeling these feelings. But I kind of just want to talk about it from a more human kind of standpoint, I guess. Not from like the perspective of like some popular person, but just from like a generic person kind of perspective, like something that anyone normal would feel. So, imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're something that you really aren't. For example, I tend to think that I don't really have much of a purpose, I guess is a great way of putting it. Like I tend to kind of think like, what am I meant to be like in this world? Or like, what am I gonna do with my life? Am I gonna do nothing? Am I gonna do something? And it's been like a constant struggle with myself. And I also just see myself as kind of a weirdo, kind of just some dumb idiot on the internet. Whereas in reality, I've had several people tell me like, "Oh, hey, you're a really cool person. I like talking to you. You're generally a nice person. I don't really think there's any problems or issues with you." And to that, like that just kind of tells me like, "Oh yeah, no, everything I'm thinking is probably very false, and I'm probably just overthinking a lot of it." So in terms of that, I really feel like I do have imposter syndrome. In general, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know if that's like a very common thing for people to feel. But I'm gonna be open with you guys. I make a lot of art. I draw a lot. I have my own characters that I draw. I've made up some characters for the YouTube channel that I have yet to fully introduce on here, but I've drawn a lot of on Twitter and just in general. I've been wanting to make a game since I was little. Like I've had little ideas roaming through my head, but the one that stuck with me for a long time is, well, it's still in my head, and it's still something that I want to do one day. I just don't know how I'm gonna do it because I'm not the best at computer programming. I'm not the best at character design. I'm not the best at like just game design in general. I play video games. I get it. I think a lot of uh, teenagers do. I'm not a teenager anymore. What am I saying? Just a lot of people do. It's a normal thing for people like me to be playing video games. It's normal. So I don't want to say I have like the best idea of like game design. I mean, I play fucking Fortnite for crying out loud, but I play more than Fortnite. I've been picking up Apex. I've been trying to play other stuff in between Fortnite and all that. So it's not like I'm not playing anything, but it's more like I'm just kind of I don't have the best knowledge on as to what I could do. I have these characters. I've kind of developed a few of them. I'm not going to tell you about them because I don't feel like they're something I'm comfortable with sharing with the World Wide Web or just the internet in general. Um, just in general, I feel like I have so many ideas. I have ambitions. I have things I want to accomplish in my life that I just don't really see myself accomplishing. I feel like I'm unable to learn things, even though I'm able to learn things. Now, the big problem for me, anyways, is school. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not failing any of my classes or anything. I only have like 3 months left of high school before I have to do adult things and worry about other things. But I'm going to be honest with you in general. I have no desire to actually go to college. I've thought about it for over 2 years at this point, and I feel like I just would not fit in well at college. I'm generally not the most social person ever. That's not me saying that I don't talk to people. That would be an incredible misunderstanding, but that's just me saying I don't like being in social spaces. I'm what you call an introvert. I'm pretty sure you know what an introvert is and what an extrovert is. But introverts, they typically just like to tend to themselves. Like they just kind of like to be alone more. And it's not that they don't enjoy talking to people. I definitely enjoy talking to people. It's just that they're more reserved. They tend to keep them to themselves and such. That's the big difference. Like introverts, they still have friends. They still talk to people. It's just they keep to themselves. Whereas extroverts, they're just loud. They're wacky. They're kooky. All that jazz. And while I have definitely laughed in videos before, and I've definitely shown my more a side of me that could be seen as extroverted, that's only really around friends, and then I upload that as a video because sometimes it works out. And I what do I know? I'm just, I don't like talking to people in general. That's just a me thing. And so I feel like, especially in college, with it being a very social setting, I just feel like I would flunk out. I don't feel like I would do very well. It would feel like I'm doing it because people want me to do it and not because I want to do it. In general, I've literally discussed going to completely different schools that aren't colleges, such as tech schools or trade schools, just because I feel like I would be better off there, where I'm learning mostly just one subject that I'm actually interested in, than all the random academic stuff like English, math, science, stuff I don't want to be taking. And that's why I just generally dislike high school and all that, because again, it's not that it's hard or anything. It's not that I'm not passing, because I am. I believe I've only ever failed a grade once. That was the 4th grade. I failed math, and I had to take a summer class, which was really embarrassing. But I was able to get past that, and I haven't failed since. So that's a good sign. It's just I don't like school. That's just really my one thing. I wish that the world worked in a way where you could just kind of get a job and not have to worry about getting an education or anything. If you're good at something, you get a job for that. Boom, done. But no, it's more important to get an education than anything else. And while I'm not against school, I actually highly encourage everyone end up going to school. As the kind of person that I am, I really just don't think I'm cut out for that kind of stuff. Again, I don't want you to be looking at me as some sort of an influence or something. If you're younger, I'm really not. I'm just a dude on the internet who likes to talk about fucking video games and Fortnite and shit. So I'm definitely not the best influence in that regard. But again, this is just kind of generally how I personally feel. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna get by. Obviously, I'm not gonna be in a completely and utterly foul slump for the rest of my life. I understand some things that I could potentially continue to learn and go forward with. Networking is one of the big things that I personally study, and that's another one of my personal hobbies. But again, getting back to the imposter syndrome thing, since I kind of leaned off of that, I kind of just feel like I'm not good at it. I almost feel like I'm not meant to be in that field. I'm studying this one thing in my high school classes, but am I really that good at it? And the answer is no, because I wouldn't understand it. Sorry for the yawning. I wouldn't understand it if I wasn't taking a class for it. But again, at the same time, it's I want to learn coding. I want to get better at coding. I want to get better at computer programming, but I'm terrible at all of that. It's like learning a completely different language. And all of this because ever since I was little, I've just wanted to make video games. That's just been a lifelong dream of mine, is to make video games. But, I just feel like I'm not able to achieve that goal. I feel like I'm just not ever going to arrive at that goal. And that's kind of where the imposter syndrome stuff comes from. It's more of a self-doubt thing, I guess you could also say. Another thing that I feel like I could really get good at is animation. I study animation just on my free time. I try to understand it a lot more. Some of my favorite movies are completely animated. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Those are some of my favorite movies of all time. and they're all animated, they're all stylistic, and they're all super influential. And I feel like those alone would inspire me, but not even that. People like Gilded Guy are solo independent animators that make beautiful animations, or even the Mystery Skulls series. There's a lot to animation and artwork and drawing these characters. I feel like I could learn, but I doubt myself, and it's very hard. Recently, I've even been doubting myself with YouTube. I recently just hit 200 subscribers, and honestly, I looked at it and I was like, well, that's phenomenal. I'm happy about that, but I feel like I'm just not going to grow any further. I feel like growing on YouTube, especially nowadays, is just extremely hard. No matter how consistent you are, no matter how often you actually upload, it's difficult to really take off on things like YouTube or Instagram or anything of that sort, because they're so follower oriented, and I just feel like I'm generally an uninteresting person. I really feel like people don't care about me or what I have to say or the content that I make, and yet I still make it just because I want to. It's something I find enjoyable to do. I don't ever think I'm going to get a job out of this. I never expect myself to get a job out of this. That's not the reason I started it, was for money. I started it because I wanted to. I thought it would be fun to just make YouTube videos about something I enjoy, about those things being Fortnite and Nintendo. And while I would love to continue to make Nintendo content, it's a lot harder for me to make Nintendo content as opposed to making Fortnite. The sad thing is not a lot of people actually give a shit about Fortnite. I don't know. I do love the game a lot. It's arguably one of my favorite games of all time, but in general, I don't want to say it's fallen off or anything, but the popularity has died down a lot, to a point where if you're a new YouTuber and you decide to talk about Fortnite as your main kind of topic, you're probably not going to be seeing a lot of success. One of my favorite Fortnite YouTubers, their name is Clen. They do a lot for the community. They're a really positive figure, and I absolutely love that. But I feel like he started making his videos a little late into Fortnite's lifespan, and it's hard to tell if his numbers are like any good or anything of that sort. I'm not trying to say like, oh, nobody watches his videos, because people definitely do, and I'm happy for him. I'm super happy, but I make very similar content. I make commentary content, and I talk for extended periods of time, and I talk for about like the game and just what I like, and I feel like I'm just not seeing any success for whatever reason. I'm trying to just talk about things that I want to talk about, and it's just I'm not seeing a large amount of success, which it's a little degrading. It's just a little degrading, but I'm still doing it. I'm still pushing, just with a little bit of hope that maybe people will start enjoying my videos. Maybe people will start talking, but I have doubts. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't want you guys to get it wrong in the head here. I'm totally okay. Like, mentally, none of this actually really hurts me. I know that I have depression and all that, but this is not the root of it. This actually makes me feel better. Talking to YouTube and to you guys and all of that, making these videos, it genuinely makes me feel better. But in general, I feel like maybe this is all I'm good at. Talking to a fucking camera about fucking Fortnite. Maybe I'm not really good at anything else. Maybe I'm just kind of meant to fucking fail my way through life until I find a way to find something that I'm good at. I don't know, man. I don't know. These are just kind of thoughts that pop into my head. I firmly believe that I will be fine in the end. I'll make it in some regard. I'll find something that I'm good at. I just feel like at this point in life, I don't see myself getting good at any of the things that I'm like actually passionate about. And I feel like I'm just going to end up working some office job that's boring and it's like a 9 to 5. I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't enjoy it. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you thought about it. I know it's kind of difficult for people to list things about their life, and it's extremely hard, especially around things like YouTube and whatnot, where people are extremely judgmental and all that. But you know, I'm able to get past that. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Obviously, subscribe if you're new here. I know I said I wasn't going to say that anymore, but I don't know, man. I kind of just don't care anymore. It would help me grow a lot, and I would really appreciate it. It's really easy. You don't even have to watch my videos. Just hit subscribe, and you can move on with your day. I would really appreciate it. That's it for the video. See ya.